Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey friends, welcome back to another round of my top 100 board games. This time we are diving into another 10, so we are currently on 90 through 81. If you want to see the other video, I will have it linked below. These are games that I absolutely love, ones that hit my table often, or honestly just have a really special place in my heart. Some are deep strategy puzzles, some are all about fun and interaction, and some of them just have a few personal memories tied to them, making them extra special and meaningful, and I'll try to share those along the way. Now, I have found that most of my solo games are mixed in, of course, but a lot of them are towards the top of my list because solo is my personal favorite way to board game. But I think that's enough chatting. Let's jump right in. All right, first up is number 90, and that is the game Dog Park. This game is a card drafting game, all around dogs, of course. You're collecting different dog breeds, you're taking them on walks, you're managing their needs to score the most points possible. It's light, it's easy, the artwork is beautiful. This one is one of those games that has a special place in my heart because I got it during a really difficult time while caring for my daughter. We were actually out of state for several months. I didn't have any friends, I didn't have any family, and I played this game a lot solo. It's a great game when I specifically just wanted to zone out, enjoy the theme, and of course see how high I could score. So that is Dog Park. All right, number 89 is Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden. This is a really quirky solo card drafting game where you're trying to grow a garden, and while you're doing that, you're also trying to fend off nosy neighbors who want to steal your vegetables. So each turn you pick one of 3 vegetable cards, but the ones that you don't pick are going to kind of dictate what your neighbors do and how they eventually or potentially influence your garden, triggering them during 3 different rounds to potentially really mess up your plans for your awesome garden. The artwork in this game is so charming. I absolutely love it. I love the puzzle that this game presents because you're trying to optimize your garden, but you're also trying to manage your neighbors and trying to keep them from interfering. Even though this game is really quick, I'm always surprised how much depth and puzzle I'm able to work out when I play it, and that's why I really enjoy pulling it out. Now, I do have a really old playthrough of this one on my channel, so I will link that down below if you're interested in seeing how it plays, but I love this game solo. That is Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden. All right, for number 88, I have the game Downforce. This is a unique game. It's a fast-paced betting and racing game where you're not just controlling one car, you're also placing these secret bets on which cars you think will win. The movement system is actually card driven, so you are playing cards, and when you do, you'll also be forced to help your opponent's cars move forward at the same time. This part of the game adds a lot of strategic tension as you're deciding what and when to play your cards. The game plays in about 30 to 40 minutes, I would say, and honestly, it is just a blast with a group. Even people who you think would not like racing games, or at least the ones I've played with, they end up loving this one. It's fun, it's fast-paced, it's pretty easy to get the hang of, but I feel like with most games, you know, it's that second play where you really, really enjoy it because you have a full scope of how the game works. That's what I found anyway. Absolutely love this one. It's a must-have for our family game nights. We love it. That is Downforce. All right, number 87 is a solo-only game, and that is Black Sonata. So this is a solo hidden movement deduction game where you are tracking the elusive Dark Lady from Shakespeare's sonnets. This game uses a brilliant deck system where the Dark Lady is moving and it's predetermined by this unknown pattern. And then you, as the player, have to deduce her location by kind of observing and tracking movements and deducing what location she could be at. It's like a cat and mouse game against an AI opponent that you can't see. And it is so rewarding when you finally corner her. It's really simple to set up and it really scratches that deduction itch, which I absolutely love deduction games. And it is one of the most unique solo games I own. Next up, we have number 86, this is Tenpenny Parks. This is a polyomino tile placement game, but it's a little bit unique where you're building your own amusement park. So you're placing rides, you're managing money, and you are competing for these bonuses. I love the artwork, but I really love the components. I feel like the production value on this game is stunning. I like all the components, even though they're cardboard, they're like this really thick, hardy cardboard, and the printing on them is just really, really nice. I also love how satisfying it feels when you manage to squeeze in that perfect ride, which is what the polyomino pieces are, while you're also balancing your finances and of course trying to work up the appeal track. So speaking of the appeal tracks, that's one of the things I really, really enjoy, because if you are the highest on these tracks, you get rewards. So you're kind of balancing all these different decisions at the same time. You're thinking, do I need to expand my park? I need to remove trees so I can add more attractions. And then you're also trying to, make sure that you're leveling up or not letting your opponent level up higher than you on the thrill, awe, and joy tracks that you have, because there's rewards for each person at the end of each round, depending on how high you place or how high your amusement park places on these tracks. It is just a really fun mix of planning and puzzling, and also just a different take on a polyomino game, because you can't actually place these adjacent to each other. They need to actually be kitty corner from one another. I'm not very good at polyomino games and like knowing how to fit all my pieces in, but this one I really, really enjoy. And I would say the solo mode for this one is really good too. It's very easy to get to the table. I can play a game in under 30 minutes, minus of course like the setup. That probably takes a good 2 to 3 minutes. Love that game. That's Tenpenny Parks. All right, number 85 is the game Honey Buzz. This game has such a unique twist on action selection and resource management. You are building a hive with these hex tiles, and whenever you complete a cell, you trigger the surrounding actions. It is so cool. Then you start producing honey, and then you're able to sell it in the market, and you're trying to sell it before the demand drops, because every time someone sells a certain type of honey, it drops the income that honey is going to produce. So the way actions cascade off each other, it just feels really rewarding. At the core, this game is an economic game, but it's wrapped in this adorable bee theme, which is just so clever. I don't see myself ever parting with this one. It just fills such a niche that no other game really does, and I really enjoy the solo mode of this. I've heard a lot of great things about the expansion for this called Fall Flavors, but personally I just haven't had the opportunity to play that one yet. But even at the base game level, I really enjoy this one. All right, number 84 is the game Meadow. So Meadow is this card drafting tableau building game where you collect and stack these nature-themed cards. They're so beautifully illustrated, and your goal is to create the most beautiful, high-scoring meadow ecosystem. So each card that you are drafting is going to represent like flora, fauna, or landscapes that are all within this ecosystem of your meadow. And you have to carefully layer them on top of one another to meet prerequisites, while also at the same time competing for goals on the central board. This game is absolutely gorgeous. One of the best looking games I own by far. I do find that this one can be a little bit fiddly, in my opinion. When I am picking up and placing cards, they slide all around, and that could be because I sleeved my cards. I kind of wish in hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have, but at this point I am just going to leave them sleeved. I don't really want to unsleeve them, but that could be, partly my fault for sleeving the cards. They're just always sliding all over the board when I'm picking up and then trying to refill. But outside of that, this game is just beautiful. It offers a great puzzle, and I love the solo mode. So this is another one that, has made my list pretty easy. Meadow is just one of those games that feels relaxing, but it also is challenging and keeps me engaged in the puzzle of, setting up this beautiful meadow every time I play. Love it. That is Meadow. All right, number 83 is Marvel Dice Throne. So for this one, we take Yahtzee, we add asymmetric heroes with special abilities, and throw in some tactical card play, and well, you've got Marvel Dice Throne. Each hero that you play has their own unique deck and player board, and you are rolling dice to activate the attacks that their character can do. You're trying to block damage, and you are triggering these powerful combos. The push your luck aspect, it keeps things really tense and kind of like on the edge of your seat, and the different characters make each game feel just new and different, and you want to see how they match up each other, so it kind of like keeps you coming back. This game in particular I find really easy to teach, and I think it's quite intuitive if people have played an asymmetric game before or they have played Yahtzee. I do feel like sometimes some of the characters are stronger than others, but honestly I don't even care because it's just so fun to, I mean, who doesn't love a dice checking game? Those are just so fun. And then of course when, you know, the stars align and you can unleash these epic attacks, it is just amazing. I know that this brand also has a solo version, and I think it's called Dice Throne Adventures. I would love to get the opportunity to play that. I just haven't yet, but if you guys have, let me know how that one plays. But other than that, I typically like to play Marvel Dice Throne with 2 people. All right, number 82 is the game, oh, I just spit. Number 82 is the game Awkward Guest. This is a deduction game that takes the classic game Clue, and it kind of plays off that formula and just makes it better. So instead of a static solution, the game actually generates like this unique murder mystery every time. I think this game comes with like 250 cards or right around there. And in the game, you know, they kind of have it to where you're like interrogating suspects, checking out alibis, you're piecing together information to really put yourself in the position of solving this crime. So it's like a logic puzzle that evolves with every turn. The art style, in my opinion, is fantastic, and I love that it works well solo or with a group. Though I can tell you for myself, this is one I typically play solo. My only gripe, my only complaint with this game is when you are pulling out cards, right? They're all in numerical order, is at the end, you know, you just have this like pile of cards and you're like, oh, I have to reorganize these, like put them all back in numerical order. That's the only thing I don't like. Sometimes I will play like game after game after game, and I will intentionally like not put the cards back till I'm done. And it is kind of a nightmare, but it's a small price to pay. I think like my like kind of analytical, like organizational brain, like I do kind of like somewhat enjoy it, but sometimes I'm just like, I get done playing and I'm like tempted to just like put the cards away, you know, without sorting them, but I'm like, I'm gonna regret that. So that's my only gripe about this game. It's a small one. Like there's, you know, it is what it is when you're playing games like that. And it is, the solo version is app driven, and I usually don't like games like that, but actually, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I do have a couple app driven solo campaigns that I really love, that are closer to my like top 20, top 10. And this is one that I think is done really well, and it's good. I really like the solo experience every time I get it out to play. All right, and so that was my number 82, Awkward Guest. Next up, we have number 81, and this is Aquatica. Aquatica is this hand management engine building game where you play as your own like underwater kingdom. You're recruiting characters to kind of join your community. You are exploring locations, and you use these dual layer player boards that have this like card tucking mechanism that I just think is ingenious. It is what makes this game unique and different from all the other games out there. So each location that you eventually conquer has multiple levels of benefits, and as you move your cards up so that they're kind of sliding within this dual layer player board, it is going to unlock more powerful benefits. I love how smooth the turns are. There's always something satisfying to do, and the solo mode is solid, but I actually prefer this one at 2 players, where the pacing feels just right and the turns really don't take very long, so there's not like a ton of downtime. I have not tried the expansion that came out for this yet, but I really enjoy the base game, and that in and of itself is keeping me coming back for more. I think it is crunchy, quick decision making, and I really enjoy it. All right, that is a wrap. That is another 10 games. I cannot even believe it, in my top 100. These games bring a mix of strategy, fun, and a lot of special memories for me. So let me know in the comments if any of these are your favorites, or if there's ones you're curious to try out for yourself. As always, thanks for watching. Would love to have you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. even if the sky is falling down.